Hi guys, today I'm going to teach you how to make this fabric swatch. We're going to learn how to crochet this. So in this video, we'll go over how to make a slip knot, how to make a chain stitch, how to single crochet, and then how to finish off your work and hide the ends. So this tutorial contains some of the most used crochet stitches. So if you learn this, you can make almost any crochet project. So I hope you guys find this video helpful. So here are the materials I would recommend for when you're just starting out to crochet. I have acrylic yarn here. Acrylic yarn is one of the easiest types of yarns to work with, and I started out with this yarn when I first started crocheting, and it was a breeze, so I would recommend you using acrylic yarn. And then for the hook, I want you guys to use the hook size that's there on the label of your yarn. So this is a 5.5 millimeter hook. When I bought this yarn on the cover, it said a 5.5 crochet hook. So you should look at your cover for that. And then of course, to cut the yarn at the end of your project, we're going to use scissors. It can be any scissors you want, just make sure it can cut through yarn without fraying the ends. So the first step of most crochet projects are the slip knot. And the slip knot also happens to be one of the easiest things to do while you're crocheting. So first, you're going to make sure your tail end is on the right side and your yarn is on the left side. So my yarn ball is on my left side. And you're going to make a loop. So basically take your tail end and put it over your other end. So we have a loop. The tail end is on top and the other end is underneath. And then you're going to take your tail end and push it into the loop from under. But instead of pulling it all the way through, you're just going to pull up a loop like this. So I didn't pull up the whole piece of yarn, I just pulled up a little bit, and now we have 2 strands of yarn on the left side of my knot and a loop on the right side of my knot. Now I'm going to teach you guys how to put your hook into the yarn and how to hold the yarn so you can start crocheting. So first we have the loop over here, and make sure the tail end is towards you, not away from you. So right now my tail end is away from me and the longer end is towards me, and I don't want it to be like that. So I'm just going to flip my work like this, and now the tail end is towards me and the other end is away from me. Now you can put your hook in from under, and we want to get rid of this extra gap over here. So you're going to hold your knot lightly, and then you're going to pull the tail end. And it'll slowly come to size with the hook. Now you want to make sure you don't pull it too tight. It needs to be able to move up and down your hook like this. So look out for that. If you make it too tight, you're going to have a hard time crocheting. Now, for holding your yarn, what I like to do, it's really simple. There's a bunch of ways to do it, but you're going to hold your hook with your dominant hand, and with your non-dominant hand, I like to put the longer end of the yarn on top of 3 fingers, like this, and then hold it close and secure it. So now I'm pointing with my index finger, and then you're going to put this finger under the yarn and over. So it's basically almost wrapping around your finger. And to hold your work, this part, I stretch out my middle finger and my thumb finger and lightly hold it so that I don't lose my work, and it's easier to control this way. And then that's pretty much it. Once you have this secured, you can start crocheting whatever you're going to crochet. Right now, I'm going to teach you how to chain stitch Chain stitch is also one of the easiest things to do, and if you're making something that is not amigurumi, which is stuffed animals, if you're making something else, then it's probably this, which is your first thing in the whole project. So let me show you. So you're gonna make sure that your hook is pointing away from you, from the yarn, I mean, so it's to the right side, and then my yarn is towards the left side. So we have it like this. And then we're gonna put the hook over the yarn, under, so that now the yarn is wrapping around the hook. And then you're going to spin the hook. So now this hook is pointing towards the yarn. And then you're gonna grab the yarn by pulling the hook down. And you're gonna pull it through the loop that is under. So the slip knot loop. So this part might take a bit of practice in the beginning. It's definitely one of the most confusing parts, but once you get the hang of it, you'll know how to do it. So again, you're going to make sure your hook is pointing away from the yarn and it's to the right side of your yarn, and you're gonna go over the yarn, under, and now that your yarn is wrapping around the hook, you're gonna turn it and then grab the yarn with the hook and pull it through the loop that is under. So now we did this 2 times, and you'll see we have 2 V's in our yarn. So this is the first V, and that is 1 stitch, and this is the second V, and that's another stitch. So in total, we are gonna be doing 16 stitches. So again, make sure your hook is pointing away from the yarn, and you're gonna go over the yarn, under the yarn, spin, grab the yarn with your hook, and then pull it through the loop that is under. So you're gonna do this 16 times. So now again, I'm gonna show you, we have 3 V's, 1, 2, 3. So we're gonna want 16 V's. So I'll be back after doing that. Okay, so I think I'm done. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 17 stitches. We don't want 17 stitches. We only want 16. So if you end up doing an extra stitch by mistake, that's totally fine. So you're going to take your hook out, and the side that is connected to your yarn ball, you're going to pull it very lightly. Don't pull it with force, because if you pull it with force, you're going to undo all of your stitches. So I'm going to pull it very lightly, so this hook, this loop, disappears. So I'm going to pull it, and that loop is gone. We have a new loop now. So you're going to take your crochet hook and insert it from under, and now we have exactly 16 chain stitches. So first we're going to look at all our chain stitches, especially the ones that are near the hook. So always the first chain stitch, the first stitch, it always looks a bit weird because it's closer to the hook and it's holding all the pressure from the yarn that we're working with. So don't mind that, but this is our first stitch and we are going to skip it. The reason we're skipping it is because if we don't skip it, our project is not going to gain the height that it needs. So when we skip this, we get 1 stitch's worth of height. So we're going to skip this one, and this is the second stitch. We are going to put our hook into that stitch like this, and you're going to push it in, and now we have 2 loops on our hook. Now we're going to yarn over, which is basically grabbing the yarn like this, exactly what we did for our chain stitches, and we're going to pull it through the first loop on our hook, only the first loop. So you're going to grab the yarn and pull it. And now it looks something like this. And we have 2 loops on our hook. Now again, you're going to yarn over. And this time, we're going to pull it through both the loops that are on our hook. Like this. And that is our first single crochet. And it must look something like this. Okay, I'm going to demonstrate how to do another single crochet in another stitch. So we have our first one over here, and we can see this chain stitch, it looks all weird, and that's totally normal, and that indicates that we've done a single crochet in that stitch. So we're going to ignore this part completely, the part that I'm covering with my thumb, and we're going into the next V, which is this stitch. So I'm going to insert my hook into that. And now again, we have 2 loops on our hook. We're going to yarn over, pull through only the first one, and then again, we're going to yarn over and pull through the other 2. That is our second single crochet. And as you can see, the place where we did our first one, the holes started to close up and it looks more fabric-like. So we're going to do that all across. I'm going to demonstrate one more time for the next single crochet. So when we look here, there's a huge hole over here and it looks very weird. So that means that we just did our single crochet over there. So we're going into the next stitch, which is this one. So we're going to insert our hook there. Again, we have 2 loops on our hook. You're going to yarn over, pull through only the first one, and then yarn over again and pull through the next 2. With a little bit of practice, you'll get the hang of it. Crocheting always, it's really hard in the beginning, but once you get into the groove, it gets really easy. So I'm quickly gonna finish up the rest of the stitches now. So as you can see, my work is starting to curl up like this, and that's totally fine. Once we start doing more rows of single crochets, it'll start to straighten out. So I've done 14 single crochets now, and I have 1 last left. So this is how my last chain stitch looks. We have our slip knot over here, so we're just going to insert our hook over here, and then single crochet. And that's how our first row of single crochets look like. So now we can move on to the second row. Once we start doing more and more rows, our work will start to have more height. So first, you're going to chain 1. So now it looks kind of weird. We have our single crochet here, and then there's this weird thing sticking out, but that's okay. The reason we did this chain is to again give height to our next row. So in the beginning of this row, remember when we skipped a single crochet? That's what gave us the height. Over here, we're making another chain so that we can have more height. So once you chain, you're going to flip your work, so just do that. And now your work is on the left side of your hook. And now what you're going to do is, we have our chain here, the chain that we just did. We are going to skip that, and we are going to go into the first single crochet. So this time, we're not going into our chain stitches, we're going into our previous single crochets. So I am going to skip this one right here. I'm going to go into this single crochet. And in single crochets, there are 2 strands of the V. We're going to go through both of them. So I have two loops on my hook for 1 V, and then we have the loop from our previous stitch. So again, we're going to yarn over and pull through the V, only the V. And then we have this left, these two. And this time, you're going to yarn over and pull through both of them. And this is how the first single crochet of our next round looks. So again, let's do the next single crochet here. So we're going to go through this stitch because this one is what we just did. So we're going to go through this. So here we have it. We have two strands of the V and then the strand from our previous stitch. And you're going to yarn over, pull through both of it, and then yarn over and pull through the rest of the stitches. And that's how the second single crochet of our round looks. I'm going to show you one more and then I'll do the rest real quick. So again, this is our V. We are going to put our hook into both the strands of the V. We're going to yarn over, pull through the V, and then yarn over and pull through the other two loops. And that's it. We have 3 of our single crochets for our second round. So I'm going to finish the rest of the single crochets real quick. So again, I've done 14 single crochets and this is my last one. The last V looks something like this. And we're just going to go into that. It might be hard because it's the last stitch. And then we're going to yarn over, pull through the V, yarn over, and pull through the other 2 loops. And as you can see, this round, our work didn't curl up as much as last time. And it looks more like fabric right now. Now we can check if we have the correct number of stitches. So in the beginning we did 16 chains and then we skipped one. So right now we're supposed to have 15 single crochets. So we need to count 15 of these V's. So we start over here. This is our first V. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So since I have 15 V's, that means I have the correct number of stitches. I didn't lose a stitch or I didn't add in a stitch by mistake. If you don't have 15 single crochets, 15 V's, you should unravel, and to unravel, you're going to take your hook out and you're going to pull on this strand gently. So all your stitches will come undone and you can check where you made your mistake and you can correct that and come back to this position. So next, we're going to start on our third round. So again, like last time, we're going to chain 1 and then turn our work. So now our work is on the left side of our hook. And then again, over here, we are going to skip this V over here, which is our chain, and go into our single crochet. And the single crochet's V looks significantly bigger than our chain's V. So we're going to go in, pull through the V, and then pull through the other 2 loops. So let me show you slowly again. So this is where we just put our single crochet. We're going to go into this V now, like that. We have our V on our hook, going to yarn over, pull through the V, and then pull through the other 2 loops. So you probably got the hang of it now, and even if you don't have the hang of it now, just keep working and you'll get it. And I'm just going to single crochet across real quick. And again, this is our last V. I'm going to go into it, yarn over, pull through the V, yarn over, and pull through the other 2 loops. So we're done with our third round, and this is how it looks. So basically we are going to continue doing the same thing until you come to the desired length. I think I want to make it to a square, so I might do 15 of these. So I'm going to keep doing, and I'll come back to you at the beginning and the end of each round. So let's start our next round. So you're going to chain 1, turn your work, and again you're going to skip this chain over here and go into the single crochet that's right here. So you're going to yarn over, pull through the single crochet, and then yarn over and pull through the other 2 loops. Again, go through the next V, yarn over, pull through the V, and then yarn over and pull through the other 2 loops. So I'm at the last stitch of my row. I'm going to insert my hook into this V right here. I'm going to yarn over, pull through the V, yarn over, and pull through the other 2. And then, as last time and the time before, we are going to chain 1, flip our work, and then look over here. We're going to skip this chain stitch and go into the single crochet right here. And then we're going to work our way through and do all the other stitches. Again, I'm at my last stitch of the row. I'm going to put my hook into the stitch, yarn over, pull through the V, yarn over, and pull through these 2 stitches. And now, again, as the previous rows, we are going to chain 1, turn our work, and then look here again. So we have our chain stitch over here, which we are going to skip, and we are going to go into the single crochet stitch right here. And then we're going to yarn over, pull through the V, yarn over, and pull through these 2 loops. And again, I'm going to work my way through to the end. And then over here, again, I'm at my last stitch. So I'm going to insert my hook into that V, and then yarn over, pull through the V, yarn over, and pull through the other 2 loops. And then the rest of it is the same as before. So I'm going to show you guys one more time, and then I'm going to do the number of rows that I desire to come to the height that I want, and I'll meet you guys when I'm done with that. So last time I'm showing you guys. If you still don't get it, you can go back to into the video and check and do it at whatever point of the project you're on. So yarn over, pull through, so we have 1 chain, turn your work, and then over here we have our chain stitch and then our single crochet stitch. We're going to skip the chain, go into the single crochet, and then yarn over, pull through the V of our single crochet, then yarn over and pull through the remaining 2 loops. And I'm just going to finish it until I come to the length that I want. Okay, so I'm finally done with all of my single crochet rows, and in total I did 15. So I went back and forth 15 times, and an easy way you can count it is by looking at the side. So when you look at it, some parts of it is inward and some of them poke out. So every time it goes inside and outside, you count it as one. So basically, every time it goes inside, that's one row. Every time it comes outside, it's one row. So this one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So I have done 15 rows. And this is how it's looking. It still looks a little curled in the edges, but you can just put it under some heavy books overnight or something to make sure it comes back to normal. So now to finish off your project, you're just going to chain 1, and then you're going to pull out some yarn with your hook, and then make sure you're cutting the side that is attached to your yarn ball, not your other end, okay? So I'm just gonna cut it on this side to be safe. And then you're going to just pull it out and tighten it. And that's it. We have our swatch of crochet fabric, and this is done completely out of single crochets. Now all that's left to do is to weave in the ends of this yarn. So since it is extremely long, you can cut it to size. So I'm gonna trim it. And then we're gonna take our darning needle and put our yarn into it. Once it's on, you're going to look at your work, and you're basically just going to go in and out, just randomly in the stitches, and do it until you use up all of your yarn. As you can see, this is how it looks. And then once you've done quite a bit, so I've put in this much, so I'm just gonna grab my scissors and cut it off. And now this tail end is completely hidden, so I'm gonna do the same thing for this side. Again, I've put in quite some yarn to hide, so I'm going to grab my scissors again and just trim it. And that's it. We are completely done with our fabric swatch. So this is some of the most simple stitches to do in crocheting, and I recommend you practice this for a while before you go into more complex stitches. And next week I'll create another crochet video with more stitches. I'll try to do double crochet, half double crochet, and triple crochet. And that's pretty much it. So thank you for watching. Bye!